Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is awaiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd.
What are y'all singing about?
We're sorry. We didn't mean to. Sorry, ma'am.
Y'all filthy animals, y'all better work harder. I swear I'll whip you good. You hear?
Did you know, in 1787, more than half the population consisted of slaves in the United States? Did you know, 3 out of 5 slaves counted towards the vote of representatives in Congress? Do you honestly think it's fair for the South to want slaves to count towards the number of representatives in Congress? The South doesn't even treat the slaves like people.
Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Slaves don't meant to be people. Slaves meant to be workers in the field, and that's what they are.
Then why do they count toward? Then why do you want them to count toward representatives in Congress?
Because they be alive, they be walking, so they be counted.
So give them their freedom then if they count.
You know, you better stay out about business. There's a boundary between the North, there's a boundary between the South, and you do not cross that boundary.
Your business is our business, and we're one entire nation, and we have to converse on major decisions like this one.
Well, you know, us in the South don't care about you preppy little people in the North.
Preppy little people.
Yeah, look at your clothing. Look at your clothing.
Because I dress well, because I wanted to make a good little people in the North. You have slaves, human beings doing your work for you.
You know, all I'm saying is that we know that slaves should be counted as people so we can get more representatives, because that's all that matters.
No, it has to be fair and equal, because that's what
It
democracy
is fair
about.
and equal. We have people that aren't counted, so we deserve to have them be counted, and we don't care what your little booty say.
You said people. You called slaves people. They are
I
people.
never said that.
Give them their freedom.
Mama, why are these white people doing to us? They don't care for us, child. They just care that we get their work done. They don't care what we're doing. They don't care about us at all. But we're still human beings. No one cares. They just don't like us. What are the white people talking about, though? Only God knows, child.
I thought I told you to be working. Y'all come in now. Y'all better say nothing to those people in the government. You hear? If you do, I'll whip you so hard you won't be able to speak. Okay. Any questions?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
That's what I thought. What are we even doing here? You think they have a right to say? They don't know how to say anything. All the words that they know how to say are yes, master, and yes, ma'am. Because you know why? That's what I taught them. I didn't teach them how to say, oh, I want this to be changed, I want that to be changed. Yeah.
Let's bring the human beings in there.
They
Whatever happened to what you call Southern hospitality?
You know, I don't know what Southern hospitality is, but I'm just going to pretend that I didn't hear that.
What do you two think about the whole controversy?
Well,
Do they know
That's
how
what
to
I
say
thought.
something?
That's what I thought. You guys can go now.
Excuse me.
Go!
Excuse
Go!
me. Excuse me. It was not your right to dismiss them. Representatives, we need to find a compromise between the North and South because we don't want a war on our hands.
well, they've got to understand. We can't do anything about it.
Well, there's always something we can do.
I don't know. Slaves should just be treated as people before they're counted as people. What if...
We've been thinking. And
Oh, no, I don't want to hear it.
you come back here because I have a proposition, and for once in your life, you're going to listen. Okay?
What?
We've been thinking that maybe some of the slave population could count towards getting representatives in Congress.
And you think that's going to make us happy? We want at least more than half the slaves. Or all.
Well, what about 3/5?
What's that?
It means 3/5, so the slave population will count towards representatives in Congress.
And that's going to make us happy.
Well, we can't make everybody happy, but we're going to try to make the North and the South equally happy.
But we don't care about the North.
And the North probably doesn't care about the South very much, but in order to be one whole nation, we need to reach compromises, or else our nation will fall apart. You don't want that, do you?
Some of the positive consequences for the South from this compromise were that the South had more than half of the slaves counted towards the number of votes for the
Even though a compromise was reached, the North still felt cheated and that the South got the better deal, which made them unhappy.
The Three-Fifths Compromise started the conflict between the North and the South. It was one of the events that led up to the Civil War. It started pinning the North and the South against each other.
3 out of every 5 slaves would count towards the state's population. The North felt a little cheated because more slaves were counted in the state's population than they weren't counted. Slaves weren't treated like people, so the North felt they shouldn't be counted as people.
The Three-Fifths Compromise was signed during the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia.
Fact. The reason why the South was so concerned about having the slaves counted towards the population was because that in each state, the more people you had, the more representatives you had.
Jordan, move.
Even though that was the fair compromise between both sides felt that they got the worst deal and that the other side won. Fact. You would think all Northerners opposed slavery and all Southerners were for slavery. This is not the case. Some Northerners were for slavery and some Southerners opposed slavery.